What's up? It's the Calling Grace podcast, and today we have one of my favorite camera assistants slash pilots, keeping us safe in the skies. That's
Howdy.
your cue.
Oh, is it my
That's your
cue? Oh,
cue.
awesome. Hi, everybody. Richard Avalon. What's up?
That's your cue.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Hey, I'm flattered to be a part of this. This is awesome. We worked together forever. God, we've been through the trenches, my friend.
My goodness, yes, we have. I've
Yeah,
I've witnessed you getting run over by a vehicle,
that's right.
escaping from possibly the worst job on the planet.
Some people get fired. I just chose to break a bone, and that was it. That was it.
Yeah, I won't lie. Like, there was a moment where I think a lot of other people on that shoot were going like, "Wait, so he got his leg broken, he got out? Wait. So if I break something, I can leave."
Well,
So I
it
just,
shows, yeah, it just
yeah,
goes to show that you should
yeah. I
never
mean,
like say, I really don't want to be on the show anymore. And then the next day, you're going home,
yeah,
crutches.
yeah.
Oh,
Just
man.
for context, everyone knows we met on a movie called, well, on IMDb it's called Redline, or I'm sorry, Red Zone. I had to check. Yeah, it's called Red Zone. If you're on IMDb, it was a Lee Madsen, sorry, directed movie. Freddie Rodriguez of
6 feet
what was
under.
the Six Feet Under?
Yeah.
Carmen Giovanni, who was on he was on like New York CSI or something. He was on one of those New York NYFU somethings. Jimmy Duvall of the Johnny Darko. He was the bunny rabbit in Johnny Darko, the Indian, which is he was a riot. James DeBello, who was just a train wreck. And I've got so many stories on that. He was in American Pie. That's where he really Johnny DeBello, like, or James DeBello, that's where he blew up. And
I'll look
John
this
Doe
dude
from
up.
X.
Of
Yeah,
course.
John Doe from X was, yeah, just amazing. But yeah, so what were you doing on that movie? You were the first AC?
I was the first AC. I was, yeah. And I want to say that my second was Brandy. Do you remember her? I don't
I
know if you
do.
remember her.
I do.
Right? She stayed.
Oh yeah, she stuck it out.
She stayed, and she toughed it out. She was good people. She was. We
She
worked a
was.
bit after
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And wherever she is, God, that's the thing. You work so tight with people for so long, and then we just
Yeah.
drift apart, and you're like, God, I wonder what that person's doing because just one
I,
circus
I
bleeds into another.
I think the best story of this is like how you got off the movie. Because I came in as the dolly grip, and within 6 hours or 4 hours, I was the key grip.
Yeah,
But you, like, aside from that, are
I
you're
prepped
working.
it.
You got the whole thing up and running. Got
Yeah,
up there. So the whole movie was shot up in Reno and Carson City, Nevada. Um, we were working 6 day weeks, so one day off, flat rates, and
yeah.
they were brutal rates. So our first week off, this guy, this guy somehow is walking behind the car, and our script supervisor on the one rental vehicle that we had to share between all of us, she gets in the car and backs him over and breaks his leg. And we were just like, and honestly, losing you when I lost you, I was just like, oh my god. I was like, that's you. You were like my anchor because it was like there was only some of us that really had a common sense and knowledge of what we were doing, and the rest was just like it was just chaos. And then like you get run over on our one day off. It's like
Yeah,
you
that was it.
you run over like one of the most talented people on the crew. It's like, oh my god, like you're like
Ah,
you just took our ace in the hole out. It was insane.
it was like emergency room, crutches,
Oh man,
home. That was it.
I remember hearing all about all that, and it was just
Oh
like
man.
it was just mind blowing.
Yeah. But you guys
So
finished the movie. You
we
guys,
did,
you just
we did,
powered through it.
we did. We had some real downs. We had some real. There were some okay ups, but there was some real downs. It was rough, man. It was rough. Like I'm not going to mention the producer's name, but I will tell you that uh, every time it came, every time it came to like towards rap, what based our like second meal and rap beers slash gifts because obviously we were on a flat rate, so you know they felt bad and they'd be like, okay, well at rap they'd bring us food and they'd bring us booze. Like we get like a case of beer or a bottle of booze and a case of beer. Sometimes it'd be like good food. Sometimes it'd be like just like here's four hamburgers from McDonald's and like two PBRs. And other nights it'd be like here's two bottles of booze, here's a couple cases of beer, and like a whole bunch of of food. And I finally found out like they were at the table every night. So the producer was at the table, and
If they won big.
if you won big, then we were eating good. And if he wasn't, if he was losing, we knew. Like he'd come to us and be like, "Sorry guys," and he'd get like four hamburgers and here's a couple bottles of beer, and then like the next night it'd be like, "Yeah, here's two cases of beer, and yeah, here's a bunch of tacos. Yeah, help yourself, whatever you guys want." And this
My
went on the
gosh.
whole job. It was so funny. Yeah, that was a good old Dave. Good old Dave
Yeah,
hooking us up. So let's talk about your pilot license, man. Like how you
sure.
transferred from film into flying.
Wow. Well, it's a circus that we work in, so you got to
Oh
kind
yeah.
of get a
Yeah.
you got to get a hobby just to keep yourself balanced.
Yeah, of course.
And
Welding. Yeah.
so, yeah, I was like, all right, cool. I want to fly. So, kind of like I always wanted to fly, but I never had the money. And
Yep.
then working as a camera assistant, you start getting money. You never have time, but you make time.
Right.
And yeah, so I just started flying and doing it, flying my buddies around and everything. And my flight instructor said, "Hey, if you get this next commercial certificate, you can actually make money doing this if you ever decide to do something else."
Well, because I mean, how much did it cost you to get into all that?
Oof, well,
Like,
yeah,
I was about to say,
private,
I'm like, it's
yeah, thousands. Private was about
yeah.
12, instrument was about 16, commercial was about another 12,
To get to
multi.
where you're at, like flying commercial, it's got to be like 25, 30, right?
Oh, well, yeah, pretty much. Just to get the certificates, yes,
Right.
for
Yep.
for
Yep.
that's like the baseline. But to like build hours and to be
Right.
able to be hired by companies, that takes a lot of money.
Right
And
now,
I should
are you up for getting like commercial pilot union status?
I'm employed by an airline. I'm captain on a Pilatus PC-12, which is a single engine turbine powered
So
propeller airplane.
so you're union, you're like
Yeah, I am.
flying union, dude.
Well, actually not because my company is a union. It's
Well,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
like,
but
yeah,
you're qualified to fly union.
sure. Yeah, and
That's
that's
awesome, man.
that's yeah. And I work. I love the company that I work for. It's a real kind of like family environment, and everybody, we're really tight. It's not
Yeah.
the film business though. That's the thing is I really miss. I miss
Nothing
that.
nothing is that.
No,
Nothing is that. That
no,
is, as we all know, nothing is the film industry.
yeah.
The
You
film
will
industry is
never.
absolute just it's its own thing.
Yeah,
There's no way to there is no like morphine drip to fill that spot. That is
no. You'll never replicate that. You won't.
no. No.
No. You try, or you just kind of like you try to. I try to find it in other places. In what
Yeah.
I do, but it's not the same.
The communication I have with people, interacting with people and also collaboration is just you never find yourself in a situation where you're dealing with such huge projects and such massive things and yet having so much say in it and also like being smart about it. Like, I mean, think about some of the biggest rigs we've done, and it's like,
Sure.
yeah, like you are absolutely intricate and you make those things happen. And in any other line of business, I just don't think that there's decisions that get made on a small crew level. Because I mean, like to do something that big would require like board members and staff and stuff. Where it's like we make these huge decisions on a very small basis between the first AC, the key grip, the DP, the producer, the gaffer, like, and we make massive decisions that
Sure.
involve massive, huge rigs where, in any, I think in any other business, you'd never be able to spend that much money based on four people or five people's decisions
Yeah.
directly and have
Yeah.
it
No.
done and have it done in a day or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
No.
we could all make a decision and in 3 days there's this $500,000 camera rig or system built. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You just can't do that in any other business. You
No,
know,
not at all. It's the collective mind that like that's a good you put it so succinctly is that three people can get together and just create something that you
it's
couldn't
so
even
big and
yeah,
massive. Yeah,
it's so big and massive. And in 3 days it's done.
yeah,
Like
it's
nothing.
built. Production
Yeah.
designers already built it. Boom, it's
Yeah.
boom, done.
You're like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
can't you just can't do that in any other line of work. Like I
not at
just
all.
you got to pull permits. You got to build. It's like
Yeah,
we are the permits.
pretty much.
You need a permit? Like, yeah, thumbs up. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Well, what I do now is different. The environment's different. There's a lot more
Yep.
pre-planning, obviously with
Well,
weather and things.
pilots. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm flying to Cancun tomorrow, and I'm going. We have a permit. I'm in South Florida now, so we're going to overfly Cuba, and you have to
Oh
clear
wow.
with the Cuban
Yeah, of
authorities when
course.
you're going to get in their airspace, when you're going to get out. There's this whole like thing that I had
Mm,
to go through to be approved to fly there,
yeah.
and but it's awesome. I
Well, they
love
don't
it.
want you parachuting shit out the fucking back of the
That's pretty
window.
much it.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
definitely being
Totally.
watched at all times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, man, I miss being a first AC. I miss pulling focus. I miss the whole like everybody together and just the dolly track and the crane and everything just there. That's
I miss being behind the dolly more than anything.
that's what it is for you. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you know me. I've always kept from the dolly, but like not being behind the dolly, because in my world, it's always like DP's, it's, the first AC, the DP, and me. The three of us are at the dolly. And honestly, like, look, in my mind, like, that's really where it really all, like, it all kind of accumulates there. And the gaffer's, I mean, he's a full intricate part, and the AD is a massive intricate part, but there's a lot of like inside conversations that happen between the three of us that
sure,
build up into these ideas. Like we'll be sitting there and like how it is, like we all lean in together and going like, hey, well, whatever. And then that conversation gets tossed out into the AD gaffer, it gets tossed out from there. It's almost like, in an ideal world, you'd have the first AD and the gaffer next to me pushing dolly. The three of us would be on the back listening to you and the DP, like getting it all done. But it's like, but in reality, like a lot of it, I just think a lot of stuff happens between the three of us of like behind the scenes. And that's why I actually, I don't know what you think about, when we started wearing the Clearcom headsets,
yeah,
um, uh, I really think that was a massively good change for the industry. I
oh
think
yeah,
that
oh yeah,
wearing those, like, I know a lot of guys that hate them, absolutely hate them, but I always loved them. I loved the fact because then that meant I could walk away. I didn't have to stand there at the dolly and have the direct conversations. And there didn't have to be a walking involved where the DP had to like walking me to ask me something. It was like, we're on clear comms, and I could be off micromanaging something that, you know, because I'm a micromanager, I'd be off micromanaging, but it really allowed like the DP's voice to extend over the entire set to his department heads and and just hear his internal thoughts, like as he's just working stuff out and like, and even just his conversation with the director, like boom, because he's always kind of open mic, and the rest of us, we keep it off, but you're hearing that DP's inside thoughts, just bam, 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 and being able to react to it and being able to be a one step ahead, even if it's just something he's thinking about, you're one step ahead of it before it even
Totally.
gets to the director. So I don't know.
Totally.
I know a lot of guys don't like it, but I just love it.
Oh yeah. You
I
could be
love
in
it.
the middle of a take and somebody could say, "Hey, what about this?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Done.
Mills, and someone could be like, and like you'd hear it, you know? Yeah. No,
I got a
I
question.
totally, yeah,
I got a question.
yeah. Let's
We'll
hear.
we'll get back. We'll get back on this, but I got to ask you something.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you have autofocus on your camera?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
all.
That's why I'm a pilot now. You don't have somebody back there doing it, bro. See, that's the thing. No more focus pullers. See, it's all automatic
I will tell you.
now.
I will tell you too. I mean, I have seen the abuse of the new autofocus system. Have you worked with the
Yeah,
newest thing?
I did right
It's
before I left. It was
it's
it's
it is like it's like goddamn dude. Like I mean, I've been on jobs and I'm not naming names, but I've looked over and the AC's just like
pretty much.
cut, oh, cut, like you know,
Pretty much.
and
Yeah,
he's going like, I wonder if I even rolled, like you know, like,
been there.
and it's not his fault because it's like you're doing like 25 because it's digital now, so it's like
Yeah,
at least back the day, man, we had the old, at least you had a mag. You had a mag to like keep you true to like, okay, okay, yeah, we're out. Like I got to at least switch the bag out. I got something to do. But it's like a certain point, you're just like, you're sitting
yeah.
there and you got autofocus and it's really good and it really works well. And you're just like, you
But
know,
there's going to be a point where a producer is going to be like, so why do we have this person here?
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's
mean,
going to go the
here's
way
the
of the.
problem. Here's the problem is that I've noticed is that they've already accepted that, and what they do is they don't. Obviously, they never cut the first AC, but they're always on the hatchet for the second AC and the third AC, and because I mean, obviously the loader job went away, like, and it's very odd. Like, I mean, I'd love to have this conversation with you. So when I came into film industry, the way to get into the camera department, you tell me if I'm wrong. I'm a key grip. Um, the way to entry into the camera department was the easiest way was to be a PA camera truck driver, moved up to the loader position. The loader would then, jump up to second. Like there was a nice little ladder. And it actually started with the PA, which it should. It should have started with the PA so that it gives the PAs something to build through.
Yeah,
The it was and I'll be honest, like if you didn't go to film school, the way I always saw it is the only way into the camera department was through the PA department and through the camera truck.
sure.
Like that way you were picking up the packages at Panavision or the camera house or wherever, but you would also, because you were the driver, you would meet all the people that work there. You would meet the ACs because you were loading their carts, you were dealing with their stuff. That was your interaction into how to getting into that department. And and then all of a sudden when we switched to digital, you don't have a loader anymore. So now you just have a PA who drives a production cube because they don't want to give you a camera truck anymore. So now there's
No,
no camera truck. So
no,
now there is no more camera truck PA, or and that guy would also always assist all the that guy would always assist all the camera guys. Like if he drove the camera truck, you remember, he'd always like, "What do you guys need?" If he was smart,
if
if he
you're
was
lucky.
smart, yeah.
Yeah, if
and
you're
and
lucky.
and
Yeah,
so all of a sudden it's like when we went digital, they're just that whole position just disappeared. Like there's no more loader. And even the camera truck driver kind of disappeared on a lot of the entry. I mean, we're talking gateway jobs. We're talking gateway
sure.
jobs, people,
Yeah,
not like
totally.
not features and stuff. We're talking gateway, like music videos, commercials.
Yeah,
So so suddenly it's like this window for these kids to get into that industry disappeared. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't be a PA that drives the camera truck picks up the camera gear, meets all the ACs, meets everyone at Panavision. Like you get all dialed in, and then you know you do really well helping them on jobs, and they go, hey, well, why don't you? Yeah, we'll teach you how to load, and like here, why don't we give you a little more responsibility, and you move up the ranks, and that's I'm sure like 80% of the people listening to this, like that's how they came up, you know,
Sure. Yeah. That was
and
like,
it's
that's the way. Yeah.
that was the way. This is the way,
Yeah.
but that is not the way anymore. So now it's kind of mind blowing. Like I really don't know how people are moving up the ladder the same way because there just isn't that same ladder to climb. You know what I mean?
No, I do know what you mean. I think a lot of people coming into the camera department now are just they're ready to start shooting themselves. So
Well,
there's not they because they
mama
also
bought me a red. I'm a
well
DP.
there's that way definitely, or just the people that have spent a lot of money on their film school education because it's not cheap
No,
now,
no,
and
it's
so
not.
they don't feel like they want to go back down and drive a truck. That you know,
But at the same time, they're also missing this giant gap of like learning the basics of all just just the general skillness and
sure,
I know skillness isn't a word. I'm sure I'll hear about it
craft,
in the
the
comments, but
craft, yeah,
yeah, the craft. But it's
yeah,
like you know, you work. I feel like you work harder when you learn what the bottom of the ladder is like. You know what I mean? Like
sure.
if you step into an industry where mama bought me an education and gave me a camera, you're never gonna be the same as the guy who drove the production cube, uh, you know, had to hump dolly track around to help the grips because it was in the way of the camera package in his cube that went and like, you know, was going to get even if he was just going to get coffee for the DP, but like meeting
Yeah.
the DP and like having those interactions and like just being on set and like living that life as opposed to just walking onto set with like money and education and equipment and going, I'm a DP.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, call me crazy, but it seems like there's like we're starting to. I think our industry is starting to fall away from some of that. I mean, I see it on the grip side. I see it on yeah, I see it on all sides, but at the same time, like you know, we our industry needs to progress, and the question is, how does it progress?
That's
Is
a great
this how we
question.
progress?
Yeah.
Is this the move we make where we don't move up the chain anymore? We just step into the roles
Right.
and then assume the position. So
You
yeah, I
miss
don't know.
out on a lot. You'll definitely miss
You
out on a lot. Yeah.
and you know what? And it's not to take away from anyone who's done it that way at all. Like I fully respect anyone who's made their craft just coming in from film school and not having to go through the trenches. But I think that there's a lot to be said that I think that there needs to be a good hard look of like understanding how rough it is in the trenches and and there's a lot to be learned down there. Like
Sure.
just by and you know and honestly this is all really circling back to like you and me doing this movie where I was making $500 a week as the key grip on a flat rate on a 6 day week and you were making like 300 and something dollars on a
If that.
6 day. Yeah, I think it was even less. It was like 250 on a 6 day week flat rate. And like,
Yeah.
and honestly, we weren't upset about it. I was like, I mean, I wasn't stoked to be there, but we made the best of it. And I would never turn that job down. And if they offered that to me right now, I'd go do it again. Like
It was great. I mean, we were doing what we loved, and it was just kind of like, well, you know,
and it's what we loved.
yeah,
Like it really meant a lot. Like
yeah. Because the money
like
didn't mean anything because there was no money.
there was
So
no
you're just
money.
like,
There was
yeah.
no
So
money.
it's like that definitely was not a
There
driving
was
factor.
no. Let's get that out of the way. There was no
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, there was no money. But you're like, but you got to meet great people and you got to
Yeah,
like carry on with your
yeah,
friendships that
yeah,
still to
man.
this day.
And look, I learned a lot. I learned a ton. I mean, I learned how to shoot a movie with two wedges. I had two wedges that whole movie, and every shot was dolly track. It was just like
Your two wedges. Oh my
I
God.
had
Hopefully,
two wedges. Yeah, it was the
oh
best.
my God.
It was the best.
Oh man. Hey, you mentioned Panavision closed. You were
Yeah,
talking about that.
yeah, real shame, dude. So you remember Frank K?
Yeah.
Yep. So I did an interview with Frank K, and yeah, we were just talking about it. It's like because Frank actually worked. He worked in he worked out there a little bit, but I think he was out in Woodland Hills most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I was all curious about who got all the goodies out of there. And I've actually seen on YouTube, I've seen a lot of people with because I mean, you remember they had the laser pointer with the
Sure.
maze.
Of
So I
course.
want to know whoever has that, somebody post that because I want to know who has the maze. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. I have like four Genesis battery cases.
Do you really?
They're out here with me. Yeah.
Wow.
I turned one of them into a speaker box. Brad J Brad Jameson, the gaffer, has one.
A
It's a
good use
Bluetooth
for it.
speaker box. Yeah.
God, the
So
Genesis. What a tank that thing was.
yeah.
My gosh.
It was the stepping stone that was more like a stepping brick.
It was a stepping brick. Especially when you top loaded it and the operator would take it and just go like
Man down. Yeah. Yeah.
they tried
The
so
the
hard. They really did.
Genesis.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you just like, God bless you for trying, but
Yeah. Oh,
uh,
and it's like that was like I think that was one of the biggest Hollywood money pits that went around for a while.
indeed,
It was like
indeed, that was the thing. Everyone was just
just
like,
keep throwing money at
why?
it. It's gonna work. It's gonna
Yeah,
work. And they're like,
yeah.
it doesn't work.
No.
Crap.
And then finally they're just like, oh, take your brother's DSLR. Let's just make something with that.
I
You know,
I
we
did
went
a
the other end of the spectrum.
I did a Crowded House music video.
Who is
Well,
that?
that's Lady Bird. Birdie. So I did a Crowded House music video. Do you remember that band Crowded
Of
House?
course I do.
Yeah. So I did a Crowded House music video, and it was one of the first red jobs ever shot. Giles Downing was DBing it.
Oh man.
The producers convinced us into shooting it. Like, you have to shoot it on this new camera. It's digital. It's going to
The
save
red
us all this money.
one. Yeah, of
Yeah, it was a
course.
no. The producers like, I will have the guy bring the camera. I'll have an AC for you. He's gonna bring the camera. And Giles is like, because we always shot 16 mil and we shot we were shooting Bolex and shit. Like, this is like back in the old school music video days. And this kid showed up and he was a PA. His parents had just bought him the camera and he shows up with the box and he pulls it up and he drops it on the counter. And we were unpacking it on the shoot
Oh
on the
man.
shoot day, and we opened it up. And Giles like,
Styrofoam.
yeah, yeah, no, no, seriously. And the PA's got this. He's like this. Oh, it's like,
The manual.
yeah, yeah. We're
Oh
we
my gosh.
we were like, okay, well, yeah, set it at
All right.
5600 ASA. He's like, he just starts
Oh,
flipping through the pages. We're like, oh
oh
my god.
no.
No,
We're
it
doomed.
was the biggest disaster in the world. Like, I mean, we had the frozen peas out, and
Oh,
and this really was one of the first red jobs, and it was just a disaster, man. What a
I love
what a
that
day.
camera though. I gotta say,
Yeah.
I love it. I miss it.
It
It
was
was just such a
so
wonderful
chaotic.
little disaster. It was so this tiny little piece of chaos it was,
It
but it was
it
so
was
great.
it was so great. Like, it showed up with those micro VNC cables. Remember those, like,
Of
super,
course I
like,
do.
they were like super
You
big.
look at them and they would break.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And at one point we finally did a bunch of research, and it turned out, like, because we were trying to try to sync it to sound, and it was like, oh yeah, like all those BNC ports, all three of those, they're not actually connected inside the camera because this is a
Yeah,
prototype.
it's a prototype.
so
Awesome.
so
So you're
so the
like, ah,
BNC ports were on the outside, and they were just dead. They didn't go anywhere inside. They're like, yeah, future updates, we're going to connect them.
oh my gosh,
Yeah, it was awesome.
those are crazy days.
Yeah. So what's your life like now? Let's hear let's
I'm
hear the current
everywhere.
update.
It's great. I'm moving
I
to
mean, are you
Florida.
still doing
Yeah.
any film work at all?
No, I retired. I
You're just
actually
out.
did. I
You're just out.
retired from the IA. I actually like went through the whole paperwork, pension, the whole nine
Ladies and gentlemen,
yards.
it is possible. This is
Yeah,
your this is your proof and evidence right here. You can
yeah.
get out. I'm in Maine. I'm not out, but I'm in Maine.
Are you still gripping?
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
well, I'm in Maine, but yeah,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
still. No, I
There's
mean,
still stuff. Yeah,
I'm back. I'm back helping my parents, and we're all helping each other. And my stepfather's got some knee surgery coming up. My mom had the brain tumor. You know, it's just it's a lot going on. But I mean, look, I was so deep in it, and there was a time and a place, and it was like, I just felt like watching my rent get up to like almost 4 grand a month, and and it's like you start doing the math and looking at the end, also looking at the end goals. I'm almost 50, I'm 40, 48, 49 or something, somewhere around 50. I was like, there's a certain limit on this game. And I was like, you know, my parents need help, and maybe I needed a little help too. Maybe it was time for me to just get out of LA,
sure,
just burying myself out there with, working way too much, and the budgets weren't great, and like I was having issues with trucks and stuff, and it was just like, it just started to kind of get to a point where it was like, I had to kind of take a step back and look at like, what's my end goal? And is my end goal in LA? And I was like, I don't think it is, you know? And I'm like,
sure.
I think that my plan is to be teaching out here. Um, teaching Jimmy, well, basically like, Frank K and the guys at Fisher, like they were talking to me about teaching dolly stuff out here, camera rigging stuff. I already built a grip truck for a kid out here, like a gaffer. I built him a genie little truck, and I think that in the big picture, it's like LA wasn't gonna, and I'll tell you, especially since the fire, I'm like, man, I I got the hell out like in a good time.
Yeah,
I think I have a lot more to offer out here, and I want to be back closer to my family. They're a lot older, and it's they're
that's
going through some
important.
surgeries and brain tumors and stuff, and it's like, hey,
Sure,
I'd rather be I'd rather be closer to them than further away from them.
sure. Well, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. This circus, you can go from one job to the next to the next to the next, and we've worked. How many times you work with these people that they have never taken a vacation?
Yeah.
They've never gone anywhere because it's always like job after job after job after job.
I've taken one vacation that I can think of, like an actual real, where I went on a real, like, I am going to go on a vacation.
In how many years?
No, no, in my career.
Yeah,
Yeah, I went
right.
to Hawaii once, and I was like, I'm going to Hawaii on vacation.
Over the
That was
whole time that you've been
Yeah,
gripping.
yeah. As far as vacation, yeah.
Yeah, because
I mean,
we're
I
just
went, I
like
went
you
to
got
some
to.
I went to some car shows in Vegas, like, but those were like, car show party things. But like an actual like vacation where I was like, I'm gonna go shut myself off from the film, and you know, I was at that car show with the rest of my film crew, and like it wasn't even
Yeah,
like that. It was like, and we were out there, and we ended up filming out there and doing stuff. So it's like, yeah, yeah. I think I've had like one real vacation, but I also like I quit the industry and went, sailing for. I was sailing for 3 years. I got out, in the middle. I think you remember that. I had my old man was passing away in the Caribbean, so I
yeah.
got out of the film industry and went sailing. But
3 years.
yeah, well, I
Well,
grew up in
when
the Caribbean, so
wait, the Virgin Islands? No, wait,
yeah,
what was it?
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
St.
I was
Thomas,
I was
right?
born in
Yeah,
the British Virgin Islands, grew up in
yeah,
St. John, St. Thomas.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Pretty
when
out
my
there.
yeah, yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's awesome. It's the best place to be. I'm surprised you're not flying in and out of there. It's beautiful.
That's coming actually. That's on.
Just
That's on the
hey,
list.
hey, let me know when you fly into Saint Bart's.
I certainly will. That's definitely on my bucket list.
That's like the most scariest airport. I've flown into it. quite a few times. You fly coming down, they shut the road off, and you come in over the road, and you land going downhill on a downward sloped runway, and at the end of it's the ocean. So
It's
you
amazing.
it is awesome. It's I think it's like number 2 or 3 on the world's scariest runways.
Yeah,
There's the one in
I
Nepal.
believe it.
The one in
Yeah,
Nepal is like number one, but
that's
like
insane. Yeah,
yeah, that's like
that was insane. That's like a
yeah.
whole nother
Oh,
planet
it's
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're landing like into a mountain, like flying into it this way. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, St. Bart's is like, and yeah, there's a lot of them down there that are just balls to the wall scary. All right,
Very
my
neat.
man. Well, I think we've had some good convos. Anything else you want to throw in here?
No, I think this is wonderful. I hope, let me get this out of there. I know what happened. There we go. I hope you stay in the business.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope
I got
you,
like we all know no one gets out. As much as you think you're out, you're not out.
ah, you know how some people,
Nobody
when,
gets out.
you know, some people have like smoking dreams after they quit.
Yeah, yeah,
I had a focus pulling
yeah.
dream last year. Or no, last night. Let me rephrase that. Last
You're
year.
in the
My
middle
God.
of like,
Dude, I know. It's God, it's been my last focus pulling job was February of last year. So it's been a year, and it's been a year since February.
no,
And I probably couldn't even do it. I probably couldn't even do it now because it's not. They're like, oh, it's just like riding a bike. I don't think so because there's just a
yeah,
whole nother planet to like leave it for the people that have been doing it for a long time. I wouldn't want to go back anyway.
yeah, but between you and me, I think a lot of it's like it's starting to become like press button A and then try and pay attention.
Could very well be. I mean, we were there. I was working this one
I
show
I
towards the
I
end where
I
you're using the autofocus button a lot just because it was just
it's because of this. It's
oh
because of
yeah,
yeah.
and your depth of field is like
Yeah.
eyelashes. So
But the thing is it works. It really works as long as people aren't running around. But like
indeed,
when people are having conversations and they're doing like what I'm doing, like there's a button for that. Like
oh yeah.
there's a button for that.
Or if a
Like
moth goes through the frame and it goes bzz, bzz, bzz,
yeah, and then it's
follows.
like oops. And everyone's like, wow, that focus pro is so
Yeah,
good. He saw a
yeah,
moth go through and like rack focus
awesome.
to him.
Wow, awesome.
And you're going like,
Wow, great.
oh, sorry, what?
Yeah, except for the
No,
camera
there's
operator's like, what the hell is wrong
yeah,
with you?
yeah, yeah. I love it when they used to do this. I miss watching the I it sounds so weird, but it's one of the funniest things that I used to love. It's like seeing because I always keyed from the dolly, and I'd be sitting there and I'd be watching the DP, and he'd have his hand and he'd have it loosely over the wheel on one side, but loosely, and then you got the focus pull on the other side, and like we'd be shooting, and I'm looking at the monitor, I'm looking at my dolly monitor, and all of a sudden you see the clench, and you're like, and you can see because I'm looking at both sides, I'm seeing the two of you guys wrestling, like, and you have to know when to let go,
Oh
and then
man,
and then sometimes it's like you could I've seen the battles between like the AC and the DP wrestling over who thinks the focus is in better shape. You know what I'm
of
talking
course.
about?
Well, that was back in the day when you used to have the diopter on the
Right.
eyepiece,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sometimes they'd go to talk to somebody and they'd turn their head, and then
Yeah.
you'd come back and you'd see the mark that you made for them. It's
Yeah.
totally off.
Oh, it's off. Yeah.
So they'd be like, "It's out of focus." No, it's not. Here,
or
you
or the
fix
or the
it.
or the client goes over and looks at it and twists it without telling
Oh
anyone,
my
and then it
gosh,
throws everything
yeah.
off. Oh, dude,
Hmm.
man, I forget those days. It's so
Ah,
funny.
they were good.
They
My
were
brother,
always good.
thank you so much for the invitation. This is great.
Oh man, I love you. We got to do this again, as always, as I say on every episode. But yeah, dude, we definitely got to do this again. You have been an absolute pleasure, Richard Avalon, the Colin Gray Show, episode 7.
Is it?
I think it's
Congrats.
episode
Lucky
7, man.
seven. All right.
It's starting to actually become something. You know, all I can say
Yeah,
is like and subscribe, people. Like and subscribe. That's all I got.
that's it.
Yeah. No,
All right, my
dude, I
brother.
absolutely love you. I can't
Right
thank you
back
enough.
at you.
Yeah.
See you. See you.
See you soon, buddy. Like
Bye.